Now, what I wanted to show y'all today is how to hoop a hat. Now, first, you got to start out with the back end for the hoops. This is the back end that I use. I bought maybe 1,000 of these. Down to my last 250. So you can actually keep track of how many hats you done actually made. I am embroidering on these little cheap $2, $3 hats here. These snapbacks, these original snapbacks. This is actually another company here. But sometimes customers be asking me, well, can I get it in blue bill and white? People get that picky. Can I get it in the blue bill with a white? Or can I get it in the red bill and purple? And I try to find the hats. And then when I do find the hats, I'll order a couple of them. So I gotta make 2 hats for somebody, and I want to take this time to show y'all how to hoop hats, because this is the most vital part. Okay, we're putting our backing in here. Some people don't use backing on some of these structured hats. This is what is considered to be a structured hat. And what I'm gonna do, y'all, Yahweh willing, y'all willing, God willing, I do a whole series, man. I do a beginner series on some of the things with embroidery, man. So, you know what I'm saying, to help us get through this thing. And I put that on my website. But it's gonna be some high quality editing. Real simple stuff, y'all, so that we can get through this thing. Stuff they not gonna tell you. Stuff they really don't tell you. Alright? And so the reason so many people have problems, especially with structured hats, especially older, and you want to make sure you get this little, see, I'm having a problem with this thing already. Make sure we get that little piece up under there. This one seems a little fatter than usual. Trying to slide that up under there. It ain't got to be perfect, but we want to try to get it under there. See, y'all already see the struggle, y'all. Just see the struggle here. See, we live with the struggle. So y'all, it ain't gonna be a death blow. All right, hold on 1 second. Alright, you're gonna slide it in there with the scissors. Be careful not to cut it. If you do cut it, it ain't gonna be a big deal, because it's the inside of the hat. Alright, once you got that up under there, once you got him up under there, right, we're gonna go down. I know y'all probably can't see what I'm doing right now. We're gonna go down here. Alright, and everybody knows this part. Alright, you fold that inside. I'm sure y'all know this part. Alright. I'm like, this is basic. This ain't where you're messing up at. Alright, right now, I got it clamped down. I want y'all to see what I got going on. So I want to give y'all the side view, because what's next is the most important part. Once we got the hoop over, we got it over, but we don't have it completely clamped, right? What we want to do, we got this table. It's very important that you have a good table, or whatever you hat hooping on, you putting this assembly on, make sure it's sturdy enough to take the weight of you pulling down. This is the next part. It's the most important part to this. Alright, you're making sure you're smoothing this down. And what I do is I hold this down as tight as I can. I want to get this. I'm going to get this to close. And y'all, that's what they not going to tell y'all. You're going to need some strength to hold this, right? And then I smooth the top to make sure I ain't pulling that in. Then, once I got that down like that, then I'm clamping. Alright, and I'm not really done yet. once I got that part good, I was running for the center. I would rub across the top, get what I can off of there, and I would come up and I'm still pulling strong. That's why it's very important. See, this one right here a little wobbly, but like I said, I just bought this from the thrift store. My shop in Atlanta, it had a great table, big desk actually. Then I'm gonna do the other side like that, and then break it down. All right, 1 second, y'all.
Again, what I was telling you about the table, it got to be able to take your weight. You pushing down on this thing. You know, it got to be able to take you pulling it. Now, what you want is to check this to make sure there's not a lot of room in here. All right, it's not a lot of air in here. You see that? See, it's barely any air, and that's great. It's a great hoop. And if you do have air in there and it's making that noise, that's what's causing your needle breaks. All right, because you got too much air under there. So you're gonna have to pull up under here as hard as you can. You know, especially if you're a female, as hard as you can. As a man, you know, be careful, man. Don't put all your strength in here and then break your table and snatch this thing off. See, it had screws in it here. All right, you can screw this thing down, and that's the best thing to do. Get you something. So really, your problems come to where you're hooping this at, like where you're putting your hooping station at. All right, and you putting your weight down here. All right, pulling these flaps down before you hit the clamp here. You want to make sure you got these all the way pulled as tight as you can, and then hitting that clamp to seal it down. And that's what's gonna give you that. You know, it's a little room in there, but barely. Okay, that's gonna be nice. That's gonna be a nice. You're not gonna have no needle break with that. I already know there ain't gonna be no needle break with that. That's a good clean hoop there. All right. And make sure that, you know, you don't think you need to say this, but, you know, make sure it's going around that hem there. You know, I done seen them where they put they got the hem over here, but it's going to take some strength, y'all. And it's going to take some strength on this table. And a lot of times you're probably not putting the strength in because your hooping station is not mounted down correctly. It's not in a good spot. So getting you a good hooping place. I bought this thing at a thrift store yesterday because I didn't have a good spot. And so I may paint this thing, and you see I got another hat hoop up under here waiting to go. So paint this thing, and you know, this will be my station. And I gotta level it off. You can see how it's rocking or whatever. But $10, and it was able, you know, this is all I'm using it for, is for this. Okay, had a great one in Atlanta, but when I had to move out of the storefront, that table actually belonged to the owner. He just didn't want to move it out of there because it was so heavy. And being that it was so heavy, it was a good station for hooping hats. So you got to have a good station for hooping hats, or a good hoop station area, or something to clamp down to, preferably metal if you can. But if you can't, get you some firm, good wood, not that plywood, not something, you know, you need some old, thick, heavy furniture wood to put this thing down to. Even if you have to make some. I've seen a couple people actually make them a little area for specifically that. So I hope this thing was helpful to get you back, and so you won't be afraid of hooping hats, and you'll know what the problem actually is. You got to make sure you're tightening this thing, especially when you're doing these cheap hats. 5 minutes, but we only running at half of that, and so it's gonna take us 10 minutes to do this hat. All right, but we're running very slow because, you know, we don't want no problems, and you know, this is the only hat I have to do. Again, you know, business kind of took a hit with the move, but I'm doing mostly my own, you know, orders from my own Etsy shop. So again, just, you know, and I'm gonna have to do a hat video to show y'all how to hoop these hats. And everybody's missing the most vital part about hat hooping, and I think it's gonna be very beneficial for everyone. once I get this video done. But I'm gonna have to find me a good table. I don't really have a good hoop station table right now, and that's the key. Having a good hoop station table. But yeah, man, light work. I'm gonna put some on the side also. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This design really don't need no puff. It's really too little for puff. It's too thin. But I did it because I was just hungry to do something with some puff. So I got the digitizer to make it puff, but it's really not necessary. You really don't get much out of the puff except maybe in the little tree trunk area. But this is that I'm going to just take this off. This is that stuff, man, I was telling y'all about to just stick on. You know, didn't have to pin it down. Get it on the side. Let's see, we at 2,500 stitches. Still running about 500 stitches. They just want to keep things clean, man. You know, I ain't in no rush. Anything just crazy right now. You should crank it up, but you want to get your stuff done. A lot of times, man, you can crank that thing up, and if you have 5, 6, 7 needle breaks and 10 thread breaks, you know what I'm saying? Like you ain't winning. You're not winning like that. So we got finished, and I don't know what that little dirt is. I don't know how that got on there, but you know, don't flip out. And we didn't have no needle breaks. We didn't have no. And this is one of the first. It's one of the first hats I actually digitized myself. This is a font inside of the digitizing software that comes, that Chrome. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. I feel the Chrome sucks. I think everybody who really digitizes, they either using Wilcom or some other. Ain't nobody really. I don't think nobody that's really doing digitizing, you know, as a profession, is using that chroma that they giving you. But it's free, come with the machine. You know, what can you do? Okay, but this is the fonts that come with the machine. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start this thing over and go over this. I should do all of them, but I'm not. I'm not, y'all. Really cut that thing out. And then go up here. When you need to skip, you go up here, you turn it to FH. Start it up, and then it'll speed all the way through this thing. Bam, 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 bam. All through these little 6,000. It's like, you know, that's a lot of room, but it's only 6,000 stitches, which is nice. And we finished, y'all.